Hello everyone, Angryponcho here. In this episode, I am going to talk about the Poncho Pack. This is the announcement video, I guess you could call it. I'm just going to show off a little world I built here that shows off the new textures in the Poncho Pack. Really, all of the ones in the Poncho Pack. And in the description, you will find a download link to install this texture pack. This is one that I've made entirely myself. It's used... as input, I'd used the vanilla textures, and in general I've tried to sort of stay in character with the vanilla textures, so it's always immediate what an object is. You never like looking things up, trying to figure out what the heck it is that this weird gravel substance is. It's like, oh, some texture packs, you look at certain textures and you can't tell what they are until you pick them up and read the tooltip. It's like, oh, that's what the gravel looks like in this texture pack? I don't want that. So everything looks similar enough to vanilla that you should be able to immediately guess what it is by looking at it, but I think it looks a lot better. It's 4 times the resolution of vanilla, so you will need Optifine or some other HD patcher to run it. If you're looking for the latest version of Optifine, you can find a link in the description. It's really easy to install. Just download the jar, put it in your .minecraft versions folder, and then double-click on the jar to run it, and it will automatically find your 1.9 version, or whichever the latest version of Optifine works for. The latest version of Minecraft, I mean. And it'll automatically say, oh, installed, done, and it'll create a new profile for you in your launcher that uses the Optifine, which will allow you to choose HD texture packs. All right, so let's take a little tour here. Now that the logistics are out of the way, we got all kinds of things. A bunch of this stuff was already included, all the basic things like textures of chests and workbenches, furnaces. I did all these ages ago. We actually got improved furnaces in the last version of the Poncho Pack, which, if you can believe it, came out in late, I think, October 2014. So it's been a while. It's long due for an update. Got our anvil textures. Come over here, you can see some nether stuff. Both are, the portal actually got all new textures. I guess as a more detailed internal texture for that animation, and a new obsidian texture that I think tiles a lot better than the previous one did. And there's our nether stuff. Nothing actually changed there. Now let's go look at farmed goods. We have our wheat, carrots, and potatoes. These are all there from previous versions, and I've added beets. I think they look pretty good. They're nice, and they kind of have that purple tinge, that reddish purple. There's a burgundy tinge going up. Got a lot of nether wart growing here, some pumpkins, a jack-o'-lantern. I improved the cactus texture. I thought that the lines were a little too obvious before, so I've made them a little more mottled. And I think they look better now. Definitely an improvement. A little less cartoony. Melon's looking good. The reeds are now colored by biome, and so they're not going to ever be perfectly white like the texture would have them. They get a different color green depending on what biome you're in. And that looks good because the vanilla reeds are nice and green. I got an improved fire texture, which is just a larger, smoother version of the vanilla, but it does look a little better for that. So there it is. I believe most of these were already here. You can see redstone lanterns. Redstone dust I did a new texture for, and it's an improved one where you can see the lines and dots and things. It's very clear where your lines are going, and I think it's just a nice improvement over the previous version. They actually changed the way redstone is textured in vanilla. There's a new system for it with different files, so I updated to that, and it looks pretty good. These were both already included, the comparator and the repeater. Here is your daylight detector with the suns and moons to indicate detecting daylight and detecting night. Have your cauldron and your blaze stand, or your potion stand. I think of it as a blaze stand now because it's like it takes a blaze rod to make and it takes blaze powder to run it. So it's just a blaze stand. I have not updated the bookshelf textures. Now I have done some work here on the woods. These woods already had different textures. They now have correct leaves. People were mentioning like, oh, you know, the leaves in the jungle textures don't really look good. The fruits look strange. So now they look more in color, more in character of what vanilla looks like. And we have darker leaves for, this is spruce over here, I believe, on the end. So you have spruce, dark oak, jungle, acacia, and birch. So I think those look pretty nice. A good texture, a decent texture. And here you can see the fence gates, some staircases, just some demonstration of what different kinds of things would look like in different woods. And the big improvement here is that I did new saplings. I just really wasn't happy with the saplings we had before that looked kind of like a sprouting little fountain of leaves, and I just wasn't pleased with it. So I took the vanilla textures and just made them a little bigger and a little smoother, and just kind of did my Tetris method for improving texture sizes, and I think they turned out pretty good. They're immediately recognizable from far away as what tree they're supposed to look like, and I think that works out perfectly. You can look at those and go, yeah, the spruce, that's definitely a dark oak. You can tell the trunk is bigger. Birch is immediate. The jungle trees have that weird greenness to them. It's like, it's so apparent, and it's really nice. Here's the tree textures in actual trees. Same things you just saw, just a little more in context. Over here you can find, there will be a download link for this world in the description as well, by the way, if you want to take a look around. You can also create a debug world in Minecraft if you're interested. I'll show you how to do that at the end of this video. All the plants. Some of these got improved textures. This yellow flower, which I believe is the daffodil, got an improved texture. I didn't like the purple or the way brown mushrooms looked, so they got a reboot. They look a little bit nicer now. Red ones too, I believe. And you can see all the tall plants from the previous version. I was really happy with those, so I left them the same. Over here is all of our colored objects, from carpets, glass panes, glass, colored clay, and wool. They all run off of the same coloring engine, so they're pretty consistent there. Haven't figured out, I have banners over there. I haven't figured out how banners are colored yet, so they're still using the default colors for the time being. Here we have some just some miscellaneous stuff there. And here's the biggest change for the Poncho Pack, this next version, is the cobblestone texture. I wasn't too fond of the previous one. I kind of thought I could do better, and I think this is definitely an improvement here. This is a cobblestone stair, you can see. And I think it's much better than the previous cobblestone texture. It seems like a higher resolution. The previous one looks so cartoony, and this one just looks really nice, like cobblestone. And that comes with a better mossy cobblestone texture, and that affects your fences that are made, or your walls, I think they're called, that are made of wood, or that aren't made of wood, that are made of stone or cobblestone, mossy or not. And you can see we still have the andesite, diorite, granite textures. I like the smoothness on those, so I left these all the same here. You can find smooth stone, podzoil, new texture for the added tilled paths block. I forget what this is called internally. And mycelium. You can see we have 6 different doors. Those should probably be over by the wood, but there they are, plus iron. Some quartz stuff here in the middle. And the new block, the command block, which is, this one was a pain in the ass. Which, if you haven't noticed, command blocks have an animation. You see how the little colors change? That happens on every side. So the command block as a block comes in 3 colors, as you can see here, and it has 4 different faces. It has a square face, an arrow face, a circle face, and a face that looks kind of like a home plate. You can see that here. So it has 4 different faces, 3 different colors, so that's 12. Well, each of those is actually also a 4-frame animation that it blends between. So it's actually 48 textures for this block, which, oh my god. They're all in there, and they all animate very nicely. The little colors blink and everything. Over here you can see all the ores and their blocks with the added redstone block. So these are all the same as before. And I took the liberty of putting a little animation into the redstone block, because I think it kind of makes sense that it's something that powers things in Minecraft would have a little bit of a spark in it like that. I think it looks good. Over here you can find updated armor textures. People have been asking for these for a while, so I went ahead and I differentiated them a bit. You can see the leather is obviously the one that's dyeable, so it's going to be in a variety of colors. I haven't bothered to put all of them here. I made the chainmail texture look a little more like some chainmail that you could actually wear. You can't see because the bottom of these blocks go through the stands, but there's leather shoes on the bottom and a leather belt, which I think would be the minimum to wear a suit of only chainmail. I mean, normally you would have leather or some kind of like hauberk on underneath, or something on under your hauberk, but basically, yeah, better chainmail texture with a belt and some shoes, just so it doesn't look like you're just wearing a weird checkerboard. And the iron, I went with a nice long nose guard because I just thought that would be a cool stylistic choice. And I went with no nose guard on the diamond, so you can see your skin's face once you get to a little more expensive armor. And if you were using gold armor, you get to wear a crown. I think it's kind of kingly. It's nice. Other than that, I kept the aesthetic of the three main armors pretty similar, so they wouldn't look too crazy different. I don't put like a weird cape on it or anything. And over here, there's some rails. Nothing changed here, I don't believe. And then again, there's some couple textures over here I haven't changed. They're banners. These are entities, actually. I haven't done any of the entity changes yet, so the mobs will still look the same as vanilla, and anything that's generated dynamically as an entity instead of a block, which includes banners and the actual armor stand under the armor, those are still vanilla for the time being. I'll be doing those in the next update, because there's a lot of textures for that. And that includes horses and horses armor. These are both still vanilla. They're going to get updated next time. Horses are having some kind of weird 3-bay kiss over there. I'm just going to leave them to it. Some more cool new blocks that were added in recent versions. These are all the blocks that you'll find in the undersea monuments. You have rough prismarine, your prismarine bricks, dark prismarine, and a sea lantern, which is a really cool kind of like a boing, boing, boing animation. It looks like a radar or something. That's really cool. That's actually in the vanilla. I just made it a little more distinct so you can see it. And then over here, you can find the new purr blocks on top of some etched sandstone from previous versions. These are they're very geometric. If you haven't seen an end city yet, you can check it out, because they look pretty cool. Just watch out for the mobs. And then I redid the nether material, the end stone. That's what this is down here. It's hard to tell out of context what it is, but in the end, it's really obvious. And making it have a little bit of like darker little spots in it, it looks so much better on a large scale. Because previously the end in this texture pack was too bright, and it was very jarring. Having a little bit more darkness in this texture, it looks really good when it tiles. And you can see the end rods here for light, and they have a nice colored, like milky pattern to them. And I gotta say, my favorite block added in new versions is this Chaurus plant. I just think it is so cool the way they grow. Like, they have this complicated logic built into them that I read about on the Gamepedia, the Minecraft wiki. And there's just so much cool stuff going on in the way that these actually operate. And I think it's really neat that you can plant one on the ground and it'll grow into a plant this size. It's super cool. I'm looking forward to doing a world where when I finally get to the end, I collect a ton of these and then just grow a whole forest of them in the overworld. Because all they need is one block of endstone underneath them and they'll grow. And I believe that's it for blocks. That's only about half of the work I did, if you can believe it. Turning around, you'll see all of the item textures are also improved. They added more of these than I realized. Oh my gosh. First off, these buckets were already there. The boats, not only did they put oars, which is just a shovel in both vanilla and in mine, onto the boats, they actually made different boats for every kind of wood. So here they all are. You can find new fish that were including your salmon, your clownfish, and your puffer fish. And over here we have bricks for your nether stuff that I somehow missed previously. There's a new potion called Dragon's Breath. I got hoppers, and charcoal now have textures. We have a redstone comparator texture at last. There's some new foods that were added, like pumpkin pie. I didn't have potatoes or poisonous potatoes in. Got some soups. Let's over here next. These are all these things that are circular. We already had those. There's now texture for an empty map. It used to look just like a map in your inventory until you filled it. Now it has an empty texture. And I can't show you the... Welp, that was silly. I can't show you the filled texture for a map without going in here, because you put it on a wall and it becomes a wall map. So you can look down in the bottom bar there to take a look at that. But it looks like it did before in the texture pack. All the records now in there. We also have, look at the rest of the food. Added was rabbit and mutton, I believe. Those were new. Over here you'll find all the different mine carts. This is a hopper mine cart. You got obviously TNT down there, and that's a command block if you can't tell. There's some heads that are added. These are still vanilla because these are generated from the entity textures, so they'll be updated in the next one. Some blaze and potion making stuff, including golden carrots and a rabbit's foot. That's all for those, I believe. Come over to that last. All the tools are nice. These are the previous textures for the tools. And these are one of the first things I added, actually. And you will find that they do work. If you see like a weird bug on the back of your pickaxe or something, it's because you don't have Optifine. You don't have an HD texture patcher. So again, there's a link in the description. It's really easy to install. Just read the README. And look at all the spawn eggs. You might think this took a lot of work, but it's actually just one texture that gets dynamically recolored by the game. But I did create the new texture, so look at how pretty those eggs are. Where was my personal favorite? I saw one that looked really good. Well, that one kind of looks like a Yoshi egg for a fire flower Yoshi, if there is such a thing. But there was another one up here that looked really good. I forget. I can't find it now. Anyway, over here you have just some new random items like the name tag and the lead. There should be a carrot on a stick around here somewhere. Maybe I don't have one of those out. Shields, for some reason, they look really weird when you put them in a frame. It doesn't look like a shield item. It looks like a shield entity, and it says it's really small. It's weird. I also did custom textures for the compass, which this is done weirdly now. I used to be dynamically generated, so I don't think the compass in the texture pack previously was at a higher resolution. It is now. I made 64, or I think it was 40, was it 32? Or I made some large number of textures for the compass because it has a different texture for every direction the needle can point, and there's a lot of them. And then the biggest undertaking for this single-handedly was the clock. I have digital clocks in the Poncho Pack now. Yes, we've moved into the 21st century. And so this clock will actually change to show you the current time as the world goes. I guess I'll just wait a minute here. I don't know if I can... Ah, there it goes. It was 10 o'clock, 10:20. I did a little bit of approximation, so it's not going to show every minute. It has 64 different times that it shows throughout the day. So it's every 20 or 30 minutes it goes to the next number. So it's a pretty good resolution, and it is on a 24-hour clock. So you'll see if I do time add 12,000, which will make it 12 hours from now, it'll roll around, you know, to a 20. You can see a 24-hour clock display. So is that everything? Yes, I believe that is all. Oh, and the slime block is also a new texture as well. Yes, so that's everything. Thanks for you guys giving me advice on what should be new in this. And I'm looking forward to more feedback from you guys. In particular, if you find any bugged out textures, first off, make sure you have Optifine installed. And secondly, yeah, if you have a problem, you know, leave a comment in this video. Let me know, you know, oh, this texture's got a problem, or like the bottom row doesn't show up on this animation or whatever. Just let me know. I'll fix it right away. And then I also want you guys' just general feedback on aesthetics. Like, oh, in the vanilla pack, these two blocks kind of look alike, but in your pack, they don't look alike at all, and it's throwing me off, or something like that. You know, just your opinion. I'm interested to know what you guys think. I generally want this to be something that people want to use, so I'd like to know what people would want to see in it. So like I say, there will be a download link for this world in the description. Hopefully it'll be small enough. So yeah, in the description you should find links to Optifine, links to this texture pack, links to this world, and if you haven't heard, I purchased Angryponcho.com. So if you go to Angryponcho.com, it'll now redirect you to my YouTube channel. That's pretty cool. So I'll probably throw a link to that down in there too. But that's enough rambling. I hope you guys enjoy the Poncho Pack. Please let me know if you use it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And I'll see you next time on a proper Let's Play video. See you then.